Hi, everybody. Welcome to week 2 and 3 of Module 4. I hope you all had a wonderful spring break and took the time to really relax and refresh, do something fun, and I hope that you're ready to dive in. We've got a lot more to do here in children's literature for our second half of our semester, but hoping that you are feeling refreshed and ready now that we've had a little bit of a break. Okay, so in this screencast, I am going to talk about week 2 and 3 of Module 4, Realistic Fiction and Fantasy. If you listen to my video from week 1 of Module 4, I did give a little touch on each of these weeks, but I will go into more detail. But I do think that I will be able to put week 2 and 3 into this video, making it so that we likely will not have a video next week, but we shall see where we get to. Okay, just as a recap, I hope last week before your spring break you were able to submit your favorite poem, read aloud. Remember that was to the Flipgrid. And if you completed it, then it was sent to me via email. I have an inbox full of emails that there was lots of activity on the Flipgrid. I had a spring break as well. I traveled, so I have not begun grading yet, but expect to have those grades posted towards the end of the week. Okay, so if you did not post to the Flipgrid, go ahead and do so. I haven't graded yet, and I will accept it, but it needs to get in as soon as possible. Remember to make your post of reading your favorite poem, as well as one response post to a classmate. This will not show up, as you note right here, this assignment will not show up as this assignment will show up as incomplete in Canvas until it's been graded. So just know that if you did it, then you're good. And once it's been graded, you will then see it as completed. Okay, jumping back over, talking about what we've got going on this week and next. For Module 4, we're going to talk about realistic fiction and poetry. Now, if you listened to my screencast before we went on break, I did give you a looking ahead to start reading your Newbery Award-winning book, because it is a chapter book. So if you haven't had a chance to do that, then you need to get reading right away. So of course, this week on Tuesday, tomorrow, your realistic fiction reading organizer will be due. That will give you an opportunity to really understand what we're talking about as we go into our reading commentary. This week you only need to read one book for the reading commentary because Newbery Award winners are long chapter books. So if you haven't begun, go ahead and get to the library today and start reading so that you can post your commentary on time. Once you've read your Newbery book, you're going to make sure that you answer each prompt, starting with the title and author, of course, and then discussing what category the book falls into. You can use your realistic fiction reading for Module 4 to really understand all of these different categories. And then discuss, why is this book accessible or relatable to youth, and what topic does it help youth deal with? One really cool thing about Newbery Award winners is that these books deal with heavy topics that youth struggle with or can relate to or deal with on a regular basis. And that's why they are so popular and usually lifelong books that people think about their whole life because it really helped them deal with a certain topic. So find that moral or find that accessible, relatable topic within your book and discuss that with 3 to 5 sentences. And then tell us about a topic or a part of the book that you might be intrigued by, but could also cause the book to be challenged or banned. Sometimes these topics are really topics that might be a little risque or that some generations don't feel comfortable talking about. So really get into that discussion. I know that was a topic from a reading organizer a while back that intrigued a lot of you. And then finally, one judge of a good realistic fiction book is that the main character has a balance of both good and negative qualities. So in this section, I want you to describe the main character and explain at least one good and one negative quality. So the good and the bad, giving specific cited examples from the book. So I am looking for specific examples there. So this bullet point here in your reflection should be quite long. It could even be longer than 5 sentences. So I'm looking for some depth here. And then, of course, make sure that you add the image of your actual book in hand or the e-reader, not an image from Google Photos. Also, be sure to respond back to at least 2 classmates. Some of us are losing points there, and it really is a simple way to get those 2 points. So respond to 2 classmates and make sure that's done by Sunday. So that is all that you are responsible for doing in this week, week 2 of Module 4. It gives you a chance to get caught up, possibly. It also gives you a chance to work on your read aloud project. Hopefully you are continuing to read with your readers on a weekly basis and jotting down your experience in the weekly or in the journal template every time that you meet. So do make sure you're keeping up with that. If you need to do some catch up, this would be a good week for that. And then if you're also looking for more to do, there is, because you can start working next week because we're having our literature study number 2 will be due in week 3 of Module 4. So the question is, have you finished the Hunger Games yet? You still have plenty of time, but make sure you're doing that soon. Because next week you'll want to get started on the actual Hunger Games literature study. So actually, I'm going to just jump back over here to our topic page. Let's jump into week 3 of Module 4 and really understand what we are doing in fantasy. So next week, we are in our fantasy section. And of course, Tuesday of next week, your reading organizer will be due for fantasy. And you do not have a reading commentary due. So that's kind of different. But you do have 2 assignments to be considering. So let's first take a look at our Hunger Games book. So you won't have a reading commentary due this week, but you do have your literature study for the Hunger Games. Now, this is going to require that you have a printer because you need to print off this template. In my last video, I was not able to pull up a big picture of this book for you. But what you are doing is creating a Bloom's ball, and you do so by printing off 12 of these templates. So you click on the template and it looks like this. You do the assignment you answer the prompts. Some of them require artwork, some of them require just written responses. You do your response within this section of the template. Then you will cut out the circle here completely. Do this for all 12 of the sides. And then once you're ready to put it together, you fold each of these little tabs here, fold them inwards. So then you have them all folded in, and then you're going to be gluing or stapling each of these tabs to the other tabs, and it should create a ball effect. Again, if you are able to pull up this picture, you can see each of these templates are just kind of glued together or stapled together. Really, it's much easier to use a staple. But in order to know what we're doing for the assignment, let's take a look here. So within your assignment, each of your circles has a specific direction. So first you're going to choose a section from the book. The book is sectioned off. If you have the Hunger Games in hand, you'll be able to see section 1, 2, and 3. Choose one, okay? You don't have to do the whole book. There just is not time. So choose one of the 3 sections and then focus your whole entire Bloom's ball on that one section. You will use 2 of your templates, 2 of your circles, to do the create part of our Bloom's taxonomy. So create is the first. So rate the book on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being the highest, and tell us why you would or would not recommend it to a friend. This should be 5 sentences. The next circle should be explain why you think the author wrote the story. So that's 2 of the 12 completed. The next is evaluate using one of the templates, one circle. Predict what might happen in what might have happened if the problem in this section of the story was not solved. Predict what might have happened if, I'm sorry, I need to go back in there and change that. Let's do that now. No, I'll have to go in a minute because I'm not signed in. I never even caught that before. Predict what might have happened if the problem in the section of the story was not solved. So at least 5 sentences. So you're kind of just thinking ahead. If that problem wasn't solved, what would have happened? Analyze. You're going to use 4 circles here. Draw a picture of a surprising part of this section of the story and describe it. So it should be a picture as well as a description on the template. Second one of the 4, write a main event. Write main events to summarize this section of the story in the beginning. So these next 3 are beginning, middle, and end. You're writing a quick summary, 2 to 3 sentences per template for the beginning, the middle, and the end. Just a quick summary. Apply. You'll use 2 circles here, 2 of the templates. First one, draw a picture of one of the settings from the section of the story and describe it. So there should be a picture drawn here as well as words written on the template in the description. The second circle should be write 3 questions you would like to ask the author or any character from the section in the story. 3 questions. Understand. You'll use 1 circle here. Draw a picture of the main character and write a description of him or her, including personality traits. If you are just terrified of art and you simply cannot do it, it is just going to make or break you, I will be okay with you printing off and gluing on. If you would prefer to do that, that would be fine. But I don't want a picture of Jennifer Lawrence, Katniss Everdeen. I want some kind of creativity here. So I prefer drawings. I am not rating you on your drawing, but I do want to see some creativity because I want to see the personality traits coming out. And then finally, and remember the last one, there's 2 circles here. Write the title, author, and copyright of the book. Simple. And then second one, write 4 interesting facts about the author. So you're going to have to do a little review of the author. Once you have completed all 12 of these circles, you will then begin to, as I explained, cut out all the circles, fold the tabs down, use a stapler. It's much easier than glue. Use a stapler to staple inward the tabs of all the circles together, and it will create a big, beautiful ball. And the beauty of this assignment is this is definitely something that you could use in your future classrooms. This is a really cool book report, Bloom's book report that many people have had wonderful results with. So in order to submit, you need to take a picture of the completed ball, so I want to see the whole ball, as well as a picture of each of the 12 slides. So really you're submitting 13 pictures here. The whole ball completed, it should look similar to this, as well as each individual slide, so I can read each circle to make sure that the information is complete. So this is not due until Sunday, week 3 of module 4, but I want to make sure that you did have that information. So and finally the rubric says pictures of the completed ball and 12 sides of the ball are shared with relevant information included for each side based on the Hunger Games book report. So if you do the whole thing, you'll get the full 25 points. Okay, I have half a minute left. So the last thing that you will want to do is do the Read Aloud Project interview. This is just interviewing your reader. If your reader is very young, under 3 or 4 years old, and you feel like you cannot interview them, that they just simply are not able to answer, you can interview their parent or caregiver or teacher. But this is going to be really asking them who they know who is a good reader, what makes that person a good reader, why do they think that that person What do you think that person does if they've done something they don't know? Okay, I'm out of time. I will do a quick review of this next week. Have a